What's up, guys? It's Cody. I'm bringing you a Hearthstone video. um, I just wanted to show my current zoo deck and how I've made adjustments to all the anti-aggro decks that are going on right now. Um, the meta is still pretty anti-aggro. It's April 25th right now. Um, so as an adjustment to zoo, because I still think zoo is fairly viable, you just have to make adjustments like I think I have. Um, I've kind of made the late game of it better if you get hard countered. So I'll just show you my deck build and the adjustments that I've made. Obviously, I'm open to suggestions. I'm not claiming to be like the world's greatest deck builder or anything. I just thought these were cool ideas, and if you guys got any cool ideas or you want to comment the adjustments that you've made to your zoo deck or whatever, feel free. But I'll just start with what I've taken out of the standard zoo build. Um, as you can see, I've taken out one mortal coil. I'm thinking about taking out the second one, honestly, because honestly, the only time I use it is to enrage Amani Berserker. There's hardly ever a time where you can actually kill something with it, unless you get really lucky trades. And in that case, you're probably ahead anyway, so it's kind of like, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's a useless card right now. It doesn't really fit. But I'm leaving it in there just to give it one last chance. Um, I've also taken out one Argent Squire. Argent Squire is great if you draw it early, and it's really bad if you draw it late. So I think having two of them is actually makes the deck worse. Um, it does give you more likelihood to draw it early, but if you like, if it's like turn 6 and you life tap an Argent Squire and you already have one in your hand, that's like a wasted turn. And at that point, you pretty much lost because of that. So I think taking one of those out is almost necessary, just as taking a Mortal Coil out was necessary. Um, I've also taken out one Shield Bearer. I think having one in here is good because if you happen to draw it, it can help you catch up if you're behind. One of them can, but having two of them is also kind of useless because most of the time that Shield Bearer is good is when you're already ahead, pretty much. And that's like the basis of this deck build that I'm trying to do. Like, Zoo's great if you can snowball with it, but when you can't, it's usually really bad, and it's hard to recover from. So what I'm trying to do is make it easier to recover when you can't snowball the deck, because you can't always go 1, 2, 3, 4 turns and get ahead all the time. Also, turn 1 Shield Bearer is pretty awful. So having two of them, again, a little redundant. Like I said, I still think it's a great card for the deck, but just one of them. Um, because you can help keep your other minions that are on the board free for a turn, and that can help you catch up or stay ahead. But two of them almost seems like the second one is a waste of a card, honestly. Um, so that's three that I've taken out. I've added two Amani Berserkers. This is a pretty standard change among the community. Um, Obviously not my idea, but just a great 2-drop for this deck. It's essentially a 2/3 with a taunt because no one wants that thing enraged. And you can also get some great trades with it because it does have 3 health. So you can get like a trade and enrage it, and then the person has to spend their next turn killing it essentially. So it's a pretty good card for the deck. Going down, I took out one Scarlet Crusader. I don't think it's that good of a card, especially against mages. It's kind of useless, and against other zoo decks, it can just get Mortal Coiled. So one of them's good. The Divine Shield's really good, but two of them is kind of eh. I don't know. I'm thinking about swapping this out for Questing Adventurer, actually, um, for more late game, obviously, because if it's like turn 7, and you go Questing Adventurer, and then 2/2 drops, and now you got a 4/4 minion for 3, just on one turn. It did just help the late game better, but I don't know, I haven't made that decision yet. As I said, I'm open to suggestions, so. Then the rest of the deck is standard, so I've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've added 2, so that leaves 2 left. And here's the biggest adjustment that I made. This is a great adjustment. It's been working wonders for me so far. It actually is really good against when you're playing Zoo versus Zoo. And that's, I've added Molten Giants. 2 of them. If you draw them early, they are a dead card, but considering the concept of Zoo and the fact that you have life tap, having a dead card isn't the worst thing in the world early on. And if you have this thing late game, it can totally just change games for you, because what Zoo didn't have before was any late game whatsoever except just like multiple 2 or 3 drops at once. This card, you can play it on turn 5 if you're at 15 health. And if you play a Molten Giant on turn 5 and you're already playing Zoo, that's a game changer, honestly. Because you can force a Hex, you can force a Polymorph, and if it's like turn 5 or 6, that's essentially their whole turn. And if they have no answer for it, then that's a giant-ass minion you have to complement the rest of your Zoo concept, which is amazing. If the name box was longer, I would have named this deck Yellowstone Volcanic Eruption, just because, like, Molten Zoo. If anyone gets that joke, it's probably a terrible joke. I thought it was funny. But yeah, that's the main concept. The major change that I made is the Molten Giants. It's been doing amazing, especially if you get lucky enough to have Argus with it. You can get a 9/9 taunt as a Zoo deck, which is pretty game changing given the concept of the rest of the deck. And worst case scenario, you never want to throw cards away, but if you have to and it's early game, you can get a turn 5 Doomguard, and you can essentially throw away a Molten Giant if you have it. Because a lot of the times I used to wait on using Doomguard until I could get it for free, or I could discard cards that I wasn't planning on using, or I didn't see fit for the situation. But I'm finding now that it's a lot better most of the time to just play Doomguard right away, regardless of the cards. Well, not completely regardless of the cards. You guys know what I mean. I just think a turn 5 Doomguard is a really good turn 5. Again, it's all about momentum and how your opponent is going to react and stuff. And if they have no answer, then you've got a Doomguard out. And Doomguard is essentially, you can trade for 3 minions over 3 turns if it lives, while your other minions just beat on them. So, Molten Giant's a good throwaway for Doomguard if you're not on low health and you have that option. I just think Molten Giant is a great addition. Again, if you get down to 10 health, it's free. And if you have Argus, you can put a taunt on it. I thought about adding Sun Fury Protector, but that seems kind of redundant, because Sun Fury is only really useful in this deck if you have a Molten Giant, and Synergy's great, but you don't want cards relying on other cards, otherwise they're kind of a waste of a card. But yeah, that's the main adjustment, as I've said for the 5th time now. Let me know what you guys think, if you think this is a good change, if you have any better suggestions. I also thought about adding Sea Giant, but again, that kind of just is the snowball effect, where if you have enough minions for Sea Giant to be worth it, then you're probably ahead anyways, and it's kind of a useless card. So, let me know what you guys think. That's just the adjustments I made to my Zoo deck. I'll be putting this deck build on Hearthstone, and yeah, looking forward to hearing from you guys.